What's up, people? Mr. Eddie Barber back here with another one from the YouTube Barber Academy, using the number 3.5 detachable on my Oster Volt, and I'm going to clean off the top of his head, leading the comb a little bit, but just trying to get all those hairs off. How annoying is it when you look in the mirror after a haircut and you find a bunch of little long hairs? Not great. So mist the top of your client's head with a little bit of water, and that'll get some of those ones that were previously laying down to stand up, and then they can be cut and fed into the cutting blade. And this is the most effective way that I've found to actually get all the hair cut down in as few passes as possible. But believe me, the Oster Volts, they don't miss much. Now, if you don't have a 5/0 blade, you can just use your trimmer to do this process. Of course, it's going to take you a lot longer, and you're going to dull your trimmer blades out, but hey, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. If you move the ear, and you can get around the ear even with this. I mean, I really don't use a trimmer to do that very often at all, unless you get them people that the hair really grows close to their ear. But other than that, it's usually a pretty easy thing to get with my 5/0 clipper. With the electric shaver, we are going to move up against the grain to cut all the hair, completely wipe it out, and move down with the grain to begin blending it before I reach that line that I put in. I need to be thorough, and I need to make sure that no line exists between where it is skin and where that 5/0 line is. So I'm just going to wipe out all that hair towards the bottom, and as I get closer to the top, I'll release pressure and I'll begin coming down with it, peppering it, touching it lightly, and just using my eyes to find out where I need to go next to get that blend just right. So here I am, just going back with the Wall 5-star electric shaver. I'm going to begin taking the skin line out. Okay, with the lever down, it's in the open position. We're going to make a guideline about 1 inch wide, and I want to do this around the entire head. I want to make sure that the guideline is set the same around the whole head so that I don't start off wrong to begin with, because otherwise you're going to get off balance and you're going to begin the fade from different heights on each side. So to get that blend on point perfect, we want to make sure that this step we're just as careful in. And please be thorough. Don't jump ahead. Take your time and go through your steps. And if you make a mistake so that you have to move back a step and fix it and then go forward. So don't just grab your next step and think that you're done with this part until you're done, with this part for real and it looks perfectly smooth. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue doing the exact same thing. We're going to put in that line with the guideline. I broke it down a little bit right here about what's going on. We got the 3.5 on top and we got the skin towards the bottom. I pretty much outlined all those things for you so you can see exactly what you can take into what without creating another line. Okay, so I'm going to begin with my taper in the open position just the way I did, and I'm going to show you right here a very close-up on how to get the skin line out. I have the lever about 3/4 of the way closed. You're not going to be able to see me moving it down, but little by little I just tapped it a little bit more closer to half closed, and I'm going to continue looking at that line and I'm going to continue closing it as I go. But notice how I've kept the clipper on an angle now, especially during this process. Very easy to lay the clipper flat, create another line, and start working yourself all over again. We don't want to do that. We want to make it easy on ourselves, work smarter, not harder. So I'm closing the clipper and I almost have it all the way in the closed position, and I'm going to maintain that slight angle or just put one side of the blade down. This would be a great time, if you are unable to get this line out, to jump back to your trimmer and finish that line out completely. We want this to be a really smooth blend from where we skinned it to where we did our open taper line, and we do not want to begin attacking that open taper line until we've gotten all this nice and smooth. On a side note, if you like some of the gear that I use and if you like some of the clippers that you see, I'm just going to put them in the description. I'll put my favorite setup, the one that I currently run every single day. I'm going to put the link in the description so you guys can go ahead and check that out. I appreciate all the love, and if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. I've been working really hard. I'm trying to bring you good content, and I'm going to keep delivering for it. And the next video that I'm going to do is going to tell you what the best possible razor you could be using in your injectable razor. So I've been working pretty hard doing my due diligence on that, and I think I found something you're gonna like, and it might be a surprise to you what brand it actually is. Anyways, I'm taking the number 1, I have it open, and I'm going against the grain. Of course, you'll notice that I did skip the half guard. The reason why I skipped the half guard is because I want to just have a tiny bit of cleanup to do, and when I go back with the half guard, I'm going to go in like laser precision and be able to just wipe out that last remaining bit of line. But until then, I'm just going to stay here with the number 1. I'll let that half guard be my last process. And again, I'm going to begin closing it little by little until I have the number 1 totally closed, and I've done everything I feel I can do with the 1 to get that blend as smooth as possible. So now I can kind of see that I got the lever in the closed position, and I'm going to go to the number 2. You could use it open, or you could keep it on an angle, but we're going to use it open, and then we're going to close it so that we're going to wipe out that little dark spot that I'm kind of fighting with on that top, because it's going from the 3.5, and I want to get that down to skin. So right now we were trying to work that 1 open to that 3.5. So this 2 is going to help you do that. We're going to get that real smooth. And once I finish this process, I'm just going to go in with my half guard. And once I go back in with my half guard, that's going to wipe out that last little bit. So here's my half guard. I'm going in with it open. I'm going to see what effect that has. I'll begin closing it gradually. And I'm going to meet where I went with that number 1. So you're going to start to see this blend is going to start to come out, and everything's going to start to come out good. I actually had this video in my archives, just noticed that I'd never made the video that I planned on making when I filmed it. So I decided to get that content out to you because it's still something that still could help somebody, and I still want you guys to see it. So as you can see, the blend is starting to come out nice, and we are starting to get this smoothed out. Now, one of the reasons why I tell you to be so thorough is because I don't want you to have to do a bunch of cleanup work. I want you to be able to just go back before you go forward. Like right now, if you wanted to go back, you could go back to your open taper just like I am, and I'm going to clean that little bit up right where those 2 met. Right where that half and that 1 met, you're going to see that there's a couple little dark spots. I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to snip those out, and I'm going to get that blend looking really smooth and really detailed. But it's so easy for you guys to skip steps, get ahead of yourself, and then it winds up taking you more time because you thought that you were actually ahead of yourself. So I'm just telling you, take your time, do it right the first time. It'll take you less time, and the product will come out a lot better. So I'll see you in my next video, man. Thanks for watching.